ganja.
Definitely not. All right.
Is this also gonna be in there?
Huh?
This is also what you're using?
Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna start off with something simple, but something fancy. This is a Gordon Ramsay recipe, of course. So we're gonna use pork, but it's a very lean meat. It's kind of dense, so we're gonna have to season it aggressively, and it's just gonna be basted with garlic butter and a little bit of sage. And then, you know, because the pork is so dense, we're gonna just lighten it up with a little bit of radicchio and apple. It's gonna be kind of like a warm salad.
Okay.
So it's gonna be something nice, but something easy. We're also gonna deglaze the pan with a little bit of Marsala wine. You know what I mean? Kind of lift up the whole plate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my homie Brian, who's going to be helping us with today's dish. So yeah, guys, welcome back to the second episode of our cooking series. So, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to get started, you know what I mean? Like always, I want to thank Pam for allowing us at her house and doing this episode. But yeah, also shout out to Brian, you know, for providing us with the ingredients that we will be using for today's video.
It ain't
Cool thing
cheap.
about these
No,
ingredients are that they actually are really cheap. Pork is super cheap. It's one of the cheapest meats that you can buy at the store, I think. It's
Can
like
you tell us why?
$dollars, it's like a few dollars a pound. I don't actually know why it's cheap. It's that cheap. I mean, pork is super cheap. I mean, pigs are everywhere. I mean, it's probably not an issue with the rarity of the animal.
We'll go ahead and get started. So what's the first thing that we're going to do?
Okay, so we're going to season the pork. So you want to season aggressively on both sides. This pork has a fat cap that's not too pronounced. Sometimes the fat cap will be really thick. If you kind of think of it like a New York steak, where you see the fat on the end of it, and then the meat on the inside is pretty lean. Now you know how raw, undercooked meat feels like.
Super undercooked.
Yeah, you have to just touch it and feel it. You don't want to mess with it too much though. You don't want to make too many holes because.
All right. So what are you gonna do here?
So basically, if the fat was a little bit thicker, what happens when you cook it is it's gonna curl and it's gonna actually deform the meat. You want it to be, you want it to have full contact on both sides. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just snip the fat a little bit. Just snip. So when we create these these little cuts, it kind of stops the fat from buckling up, and then it helps the meat cook evenly. See? So now it can kind of just spread and cook. See where if you were to cook it, it would curl in like that, and then it would, you wouldn't have a flat surface. Okay, easy enough.
Okay, I'll do the next one.
Yeah, sure. It's about an inch, maybe less.
Oh, this one doesn't really need it too much, right? Because it's not as it's like how you said, it's thinner than that one.
Yeah, that's right. But you can do it anyways.
Yeah. Okay. So get to it. No, I'm just kidding.
So when you're working with meat like this, raw meat, especially poultry, you want to wash your hands consistently. It's always good to have a towel with some sanitizer on it. That way, while you're cooking, you can just do that.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna season the pork, you guys. What are we gonna be seasoning the pork with today?
Very simple seasoning for all meats is gonna be salt and pepper. Okay, so are you gonna eat as well?
Yeah, I'll eat a little bit.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna throw another pork chop in there.
So how much should I just? You want it? Oh, yeah. So you
So,
said aggressively. So
Yeah, so usually on salt and pepper.
both sides.
Wait.
You want to open the top as much as possible. That way, the salt is gonna break up in as large pieces as possible.
There you go.
Probably like that should be cool. And then.
Wait. I want you to do.
Right, and the higher that you put it, the more evenly it's gonna distribute as you season it.
Cool. And then we'll do the pepper, and then we'll flip it over.
That's right.
And then.
Also, if you do get seasoning on the board, which is totally fine, which is why you want to do it at higher, like up here, because if you do get it on the board, you can actually mop up the rest of it with the edges.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Okay, so we're gonna do that. Not too much pepper. Okay.
Cause doesn't the pepper like burn fast, or when you're frying it or something?
That's right. Pepper can actually burn, believe it
Yeah.
or not.
And I've actually
some
heard,
people
like-
like to put pepper at the end.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I heard, too.
This is gonna be fine. If you kind of roast it, it gets a little more mild, but that's okay.
Do we want to rub in the seasoning? Or
Yeah, you can kind of gently push it in. You don't have to rub it hard. Just tap 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 tap. You're good.
You said you washed them,
Good.
right? Them fingers.
Yeah. Before we like move it around, guys, we'll do the other side. So we'll flip it over.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then now we're gonna get the edges with the rest of it. So we're gonna grab this and just kind of.
That's right. Try to get all of it all the way around as much
Yeah.
as possible. Try to just
whole-
mop up all the rest of the salt and pepper. So when, even though it looks a lot like there's a lot of salt, basically when that hits the pan, you're gonna lose most of it, you know? So it's kind of hard to over season meat, especially when it's kind of thick like this. But for the most part, it's just gonna be on the outside.
Okay.
You can over salt it somehow, you know, obviously if you just keep doing it and you just get like a cake layer, you know, but for the most part it's very forgiving, and a lot of people do just like to add a little bit of salt afterwards. You get a little bit of a crunch as well, so it adds more texture and flavor to it. So don't be too
Afraid of like.
don't be afraid to season with salt.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so next we're gonna prep this. This is the radicchio. This almost is like kind of like a bitter lettuce.
What's the vegetable?
Kind of, yeah. You know, don't quote me on that.
That look like a fruit
I
to
never
you?
actually seen this before. What
This
is,
guy look
what
like
is it called? You said? Or I don't even ever seen this in my life.
Passion fruit.
Passion?
It's a fruit?
So first, you want to make a flat surface, cut it in half, boom, and then just chop, 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 just like that, pretty much.
Can you do that, RJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Hey.
No, I'm not fancy cutting today, but you don't have to do it quick. Just do it with good technique. Make sure you don't hurt yourself. You know, you'll get faster as you do it. Oh, look at that! RJ's master.
Ah, a little finger tuck. The little finger tuck technique, yeah.
So do I want to cut this any more than what it already is, or just kind of like this is cool right here?
No, that's fine. It's actually a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Cooking.
I'm not a chef. This is me learning. So I've actually have heard most chefs say that prepping your food is always obviously best, huh? So you have everything in your area.
Yeah, it is. If you're a home cook and you're doing a meal like this and you're super quick and you know what you're doing, then yeah, you can do this while you're cooking or whatever, you know. But if you don't have experience, then yeah, definitely get your ingredients ready, because you don't want something hot burning on the pan and then you got to go and chop some veggies.
You're recording
You know,
it
30
now.
seconds.
Trying to
Yeah,
find it.
exactly. You know, you have 30 seconds before your food burn.
Okay.
So, okay, same concept with the apple. You know, just go like that, just chop it. Okay, boom. About that thickness. Try to do the rest of them.
Okay.
So we got the pan going. It's gonna be a cast iron skillet. These retain a lot of heat. It might heat up a little bit uneven, but the fact is that it does a great sear to the meats that you have. You want your butter to brown. You don't want your butter to blacken.
Is there a specific butter?
No.
Unsalted, salted?
A lot of good cooks use unsalted butter.
Uh-huh.
You know,
So this is a cast
I
iron.
like salt, so I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
salted butter.
Jeez.
So this is
it's
a
already in there.
cast iron
You
pan?
know what I'm saying?
That's right, it's cast iron. We're gonna use olive oil. So, like I said, butter burns. So you want to coat the pan with a little bit of oil. It'll prevent the butter from burning. Okay. This is a good amount of oil in there because we are cooking 3 of them. It's ready. It's ready to go. Turn your fan on, and basically, if the pan is not hot before you put the oil in, the oil actually burns. So make sure you get your pan on ready. Okay. So here we go. You're gonna toss those in. Toss the thickest one in first, and you want to lay the meat away from you. That way you don't splash on yourself. Yeah.
thickest
And-
one. So this one looks like the thickest one, right?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So away from you.
Put them all on you.
Next one.
basically gonna crush them. You don't need to peel them. Okay, just put them down, hold it against the knife, and just crush it. It's gonna release the flavor of the garlic. Okay, and the shell also kind of helps it from roasting a little too much while it's cooking on that hot pan. You want the garlic to go in early.
So we're not gonna peel the garlic?
No, don't even peel it. You don't even need to.
Okay.
It'll come off. We're using a lot of garlic because I love garlic. This is a little bit
I
too
love
much.
garlic.
Everyone loves garlic. If you don't love garlic, get the fuck off the channel. No, I'm just kidding.
Get out of here!
I'm just kidding.
The garlic, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And just kind of toss it around the pork, or how do
On that bit.
Or on it?
I don't know.
Around it.
The reason that's completely up is because this is a very weak stove. Like this stove is extremely weak. We're actually getting a new one in a few days. So.
New cast iron?
No, a new stove.
Oh, new stove. Oh, damn.
Yeah, this one piece of shit. The oven broke on me on Thanksgiving when I was cooking a turkey. I got
Oh, that's terrible.
I was so angry.
What is this, twine or some shit?
This is not. No, this is not twine. This is a meat thermometer. So we're gonna put this into the center, and then we're gonna make sure that it meets at 1. Okay. So see the garlic's roasting. It's beginning to cook. See how these shells they just come off. That's why you don't need to kill them. So yeah, go ahead, start flipping them. You can go ahead and lift one up and check it. Lift the biggest one first.
I think the biggest one was this one. Yeah.
Check the bottom, see if it's seared.
Oh, yeah?
Is that nice?
Nice.
Good. Okay, go ahead. Got it over here.
Do you ever want to like press down on it or not?
Try to get if you can. Okay, go ahead. This one.
Damn, with your hands. That's where I want to get, people. Well, I'm not afraid to use my hands, man.
So now we're ready to throw in the butter. Okay. We get time to throw in the butter and the sage.
Like, how does it, like, the pork get the flavoring from the garlic?
It's the garlic and the butter and the oil.
The butter is gonna absorb it.
Okay.
And then we got a little piece over here. You want to give honors?
Yeah. Put it over here.
Sure.
Wow.
The honors has failed.
Oh my
We're
god.
learning.
Okay, make sure that the bottom is touching.
Knife down. I know that number.
So if you really want to,
Oh, that's the fucking
if
picture.
you really want to, you can kind of get the edges, the fat edges. If they were really thick, you would do that. You would get them on the edge, and then you would basically, you can tilt the pan. You can tilt the pan so it can kind of get the edges. But see how the butter is browning? So we're gonna turn the gas either off or really low. Throw the things in right now. And you're gonna smell a lot of aromatics. Okay. It's gonna smell really good. It's gonna be super
Oh
good.
yeah,
I
you're
love
right.
it.
I smelled already. What the fuck?
Yeah. It completely just changes. Woo! Super good. Super
Wow,
good.
it smells like it goes with pork.
Yeah, it's really, really good. You can use thyme, you can use rosemary, depending on the dish, whatever you prefer. You can even combine them if you want.
And you can use sage for like steak too, right?
So you don't actually eat that shit, right? You just use it for the flavoring.
See, the
right?
thing is, I love to eat this stuff. So these become like little crispy, buttery kind of chips
Oh, okay.
when they're
I'll eat
done,
that.
and it's actually really, really good with these chops.
See, what's cool about like making these videos to you guys is that I get to look back at it, and if I want to make this dish for my family, dude, I have a video where I can just go look back at and remember everything from it, you know? So
Yeah.
appreciate it, bro.
Come over here. So basically, you want to baste it too. It kind of helps it cook as well. It kind of adds more flavor. This is when the flavor kind of infuses.
So that's when you throw the butter on top of the shit, right? That's what
Yeah.
basting is called, right?
Yeah, you're like bathing it almost.
yeah.
I don't know if you hear that.
And this shit smells hella fire.
Okay.
Yeah, this shit smells hella fire, bro.
Okay, so our oven is actually broken. At this point, usually I would put it into the oven for about 6 to 8 minutes at around 400 degrees, and it would finish cooking the pork. But since we don't have the luxury of an oven right now, I'm gonna have to keep cooking these until they reach temperature on the pan.
And you're cooking the edges, right? Or the sides?
The fat, I'm rendering the fat.
Oh,
right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so for now you're picking the sides for the fat.
Rendering the fat.
So after this process, what's the next?
After this, we're gonna deglaze the pan with the Marsala wine. What that actually does is it's gonna take a lot of the flavor from the bottom, and it's also gonna add more flavor as it reduces. You're gonna reduce it until you don't taste that wine anymore. So it's at 133 right now. It's gonna climb steadily, and then as the meat rests, it's gonna climb another 5 to 10 degrees.
We want it sitting at 160 or
Ish.
160?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, you guys, if you're enjoying these episodes just as much as we are, let us know, man, in the comment section below. You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
Oh, man, yeah, this is very aromatic. You can.
Right. Once you threw that shit in.
Yeah, that's what it takes out super strong.
So if you want, I mean, you can try some of this. Like once the sage gets kind of crispy, they're actually really good. Super good flavor. I bit off it if you don't mind.
I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Cheers. So this is the sage after it's been cooked into the pan. Yeah. Now, yeah, a lot of flavor in that.
Yeah, super good. So when we deglaze with the Marsala, it's gonna sweeten it a little bit and kind of balance out the flavor.
I thought it'd be like more herby of a flavor, but since it got like all that soaked in from the butter and the garlic,
buttery,
you really had that combination of all those flavors. Really good. It really felt like a chip. Yeah. Cool.
Oh yeah. I think it'll be good.
I really wish I had the oven because the inside is taking like a lot longer to finish.
Yeah.
So they're putting it in the oven would thoroughly cook the pork piece.
Make note of that, guys. Oven will make things easier, but this is a way if you don't have an oven. Alright?
We're just gonna dump the excess butter out. It's so sad though because this stuff is really good.
It's just infused. Alright guys, so the dish isn't done yet. We still got this stuff. You're wondering why we're cutting some random vegetables.
You can throw these in. Throw these just the apples into the pan.
Throwing them in the pan. Apples?
Apples.
This pan?
That pan. I wish I had a better pan that was a little more rounded and a little bit higher. That way you can kind of toss it a little bit better.
You just toss them in there?
Toss them in there. So we're gonna salt, pepper. I know, salting and peppering apples.
Yeah, I don't know. You lost me with this dish.
Okay, so go ahead. Not aggressively. That's it. Okay. And a little bit
What is that?
olive oil.
Alright, do you need to do that? Alright, stop. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, so how you toss the pan is you want to get all the ingredients to the edge, and you kind of just push forward and then back. You know, it's almost like a ramp. It's gonna hit it. All right, looking good. Okay, so now we're gonna add the radicchio. Raddicio.
Raddicio?
I don't know how to fucking pronounce it.
If you know, I know how it goes. My pronunciation is terrible.
I didn't fucking make this dish. So we're gonna add a little bit of thyme in there. Gives it a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of earthiness. But this particular dish is kind of it's almost like an acquired taste, you know? It's got that sweetness, it's got that bitterness, it's got that earthiness from the thyme. So if you never had a dish like this, it's kind of like, you know, it's a hot salad.
This is a hot salad. Okay, so this is a side dish.
Like a fresh hot salad. Yeah, it's a side dish. There we go. There's our side dish.
I'll tell you right now, that apple cider vinegar did not help with the smell. Holy shit. That shit's sour.
I hate the way that shit's
We'll be with you guys shortly. We'll be right back. Alright guys, so we just finished up the dish. So this is like a pork sage dish. Very simple and cheap to make. So yeah, let's give it a shot, you guys.
How much was that fucking lettuce thing?
It's like $3. The apple's like $1. You know, the pork, dude, a pack of 4 of these was $5.
Can I use this
That's
knife?
how cheap it is. It's cheaper than school lunch, you know?
So if you want to impress your girl, cook some of this shit, $10. Max.
And you can feed 2 of your friends as well.
I'm gonna cook it. I'm gonna
And
cut it
make a
like steak.
video.
I'm cutting it like steak. All right, guys. So we're gonna give it a shot. This is the pork here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cheers. Well, actually, we're gonna dip this into. No, go in after. All right, cheers. That's
I know. It's because I had to overcook it in the oven.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, I did
There's so
have-
much flavor in that. I can't even explain it, bro. Alright.
Oh my god.
This is the apple. I see what this does. This is like super like flavorful. Just like right here on the side. It's basically it's basically balancing all that out.
So if you just eat the radicchio salad with the apple itself, you're gonna get a lot of bitterness, a little bit of sweetness. You're gonna get a lot of texture though, a little bit of crunch. But when you eat it with the pork is so dense. You know, it's a very lean cut of meat. It's super dense. It's very salty. It's very it's very buttery. So basically, when you eat that, it kind of balances it out. It takes away a lot of the bitterness, and it kind of goes really good together, honestly. You know, I mean, I'm not the expert. This is Gordon Ramsay's dish. You know what I mean?
And he knows a lot about food.
He does. He knows the most about food, probably more than anybody else.
Maybe not too much as already eaten.
We gotta let Andrew try this out. Let me switch this over to camera.
Alright. You know, I wouldn't try no apple ass dish, but I'll try because Brian cooked it.
Don't make a face. I already explained why I wouldn't like it.
So we got Ben joining us, guys, at the very end of the episode. No, I'm just kidding. What do you think about it, Andrew?
The pork's good.
It works delicious.
The apple's not that bad.
So we're gonna have Ben try it out next, you guys. Brian, what do you think about it? This dish overall that you put together.
I've cooked this dish only probably like only a couple times. I've definitely made it better before. The fact that we didn't have an oven makes a huge difference because, like I said, you can't see it on pork, but if it were like a steak, you would see a lot of that gray band versus like a rare or mid-rare all the way through. So this is kind of the same concept. It's kind of like well done on the edges, but the center is cooked nicely. As far as like the flavoring and all that stuff like that goes, it's definitely not perfect. You know, obviously I'm not Gordon Ramsay, and you know I like to eat really good food, so I'm a really harsh critic. I would say like execution-wise, 6 out of 10. Like if you're talking about like if it could be completely perfect, I mean that's just how I feel about it. You know?
Oh yeah, I want your honest opinion, and it's your honest opinion, so thank you. All right, Andrew, take over the camera. Quick round this video.
We got to be legit. Basically coming through.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. How was it?
It was good.
Good?
I kind of don't like this stuff because it's a little bitter. I like the apples, so.
Well, that's an acquired taste.
Definitely
Very
required.
acquired
Yeah,
taste,
definitely
yeah.
good now.
You gotta kind of eat it like all together in tangent. Also kind of eat kind of the sage and like the garlic with it as well.
Overall, my favorite part of this, to be honest, was obviously the pork. it was delicious. Overall, I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. I want to give a big shout out to Brian for having us over today at his house and providing us with today's ingredients. So thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode. And before we end it, who is the next person you want me to cook with? So comment that in the section below. And we'll see you guys on the next episode, baby. Show!